Hey, it's Panda, and welcome to this Mabinogi Glen Hardmode tutorial. If you've ran Glen normals before, then you should have seen the hard mode option before entering. If you haven't run Glen before and you need to unlock it, here are the requirements that you need to do. You need to have a total Arcana level of 50 plus, and for the Dark Dreams of a Winter Wind questline to be cleared. So, if you haven't ran Glen before, I definitely recommend maybe hopping into Glen normal and seeing how you do. If you find yourself dying a lot, then you're probably not going to have a fun time in Glen Hard mode, but it's completely up to you. So, first off, you're going to want to make sure you have full recovery potions. And the reason being is that when you're inside of Glen, you can only take a potion every 30 seconds. So it's just best if you are taking full recovery potions. Also, in the Thursday rewards, you also get Soul Guardian Stones. You definitely want these for Glen. You don't want to use nows, and you do not want to use phoenixes. And the reason being is that when you're inside a glen, you really want to be able to control like when you revive. If you use a now or if you use the phoenix, it will just revive you as soon as you die, and you could be like inside of a red circle, and that's just like death. So that's why it's really important to have the soul guardian stones, because when you revive, you could choose when you revive, and they also revive you with full health, which is also super nice. Alrighty, so the next thing is you're going to want a very strong pet to divine link to. So I will show you what you're looking for exactly. So you can summon a pet and do view skills. And you're looking for Fin Pet Mastery rank 1. This is what you want. You usually achieve this around like 20k or 17k, somewhere around there. Let me see what my pet's at. Yeah, my cumulative level is 20,000 for this pet. So how you do this, how you can rank up a pet super fast is, so you buy whistles, and then I recommend going for the reddish pinkish ones. I think it's red. You can buy these, and then you summon the whistle first. So you gotta use it, and then desummon, and then you summon the pet that you want to fin sync to. So you're gonna need a fin bell, and then we gotta find fin sync right here, and then you just click a fin pet and then start fin sync, just like that. And then you basically keep doing that until you get rank 1 fin pet mastery on the pet. Super chill. You might also want to grab firewood. Make sure you have firewood on you, because when you're inside, you can set up campfires in front of the braziers to stop the yeti from rolling on you. You can also make sure you have phantasmal remnants for Fate Weaver. Fate Weaver is a great debuffing skill in here that you will use a lot. And I think that's about it. I feel like I'm missing something though. But surely, I think that's it. Okay, so yeah, that wasn't it. I actually did forget something. It's actually really important too. So when you're inside of Glen Hard mode, there's gonna be like a doom mechanic, and the only way to not die from that is to use Wings of Eclipse, which is this skill right over here. And I will show you how to switch your demi so you're in the correct one. And I'm sure there's probably some people watching this who already know like how to do this, but I'm just showing because when I first started Glen Hard mode, I had no idea how to do like a lot of these things. So maybe there's people out there who are like in the same position as me. So that's why I'm going to show it. So first, you are going to want to grab your Brionac, this thing. You also are going to need to shock yourself. So let's see. Where shock? Here you go. So first you shock yourself, and then you switch to your Brionac, and then you'll see these buttons down here. you're gonna want a Fallius warp. Oh, you need a Fallius fragment. Okay, so make sure you buy a Fallius fragment. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Whoops. Here we go. So buy one of these, and then make your portal. And then you enter. And then you talk to Iiba. I think that's how you say the name. So you want to be in Morgan. Neiman will give you Fury of Light. But you want Wings of Eclipse. So make sure you're in Morgan. I'm already in Morgan, so I'm not going to switch. And then once you do that, you can like check if you're in the right one. Because when you Awakening of Light, you'll be able to use Wings of Eclipse, which looks something like this. And then you can just click on the portal to exit. Before we go into Glen, I'll probably just go over technique loadouts. For Glen, I usually have a few different ones. For Glen Elite right now, I actually have these three right here. But it's kind of up to you what you want. I would say Dampen Shock, Blunting Field, Redouble, Fate Weaver, Vital Surge are really good ones. I will also see a lot of people running with Defiance on. Defiance is also a really good one. So ultimately, it's up to you what you think works best for you. But this is what I usually run with, and then I have some different sets as well. I have like Tree Renewal here, and Defiance on the set. So it kind of just ranges. So yeah. Now let's head into Glen. Before heading to your side, people will usually put down a cater, and they'll also probably buff themselves, make sure mana shield's on, and your instills, all that good stuff. And then we will go straight into DPSing Grandma. We will damage Grandma to 95%, and at 95%, we will then transition to our sides, and while we're transitioning, a lot of people will summon a whale and use Purifying Wave. Once you get to your side, you're going to want to make sure you Divine Link right away with your strongest pet. And then you're going to want to place down Red Seals. Red Seals will help slow the mobs down. For this room, we're just killing mobs to fill up the Paradox Corrected bar to 100%. So next up, plants will spawn. A man-eating plant will spawn first, and you want to make sure you are hitting these plants with your strongest attacks. So don't thunder it. I would recommend like Shadow Flaring, Dynavolt Smashing, all those like really strong attacks, or else it will take like ones. Here you'll see there are two different types of plants spawning. You have the carnivorous and the man-eating plants. The man-eating plants contribute more to the bar, so usually that's why we focus on killing the man-eating plants. Though in order to kill the man-eating plants, both sides need to be hitting that plant. If only day side's hitting that plant, then it will just start taking ones, because you need night side to also hit that plant as well. The carnivorous plants are super easy to kill because you don't have to worry about the other side hitting them. You could just kill them like at your own pace. But they don't contribute that much to the bar, so that's why we focus man-eating more. Okay, so now we head to the next room. You're going to want to make sure you are putting down more red seals, and maybe even divine linking again if you need to. In this room, we can get 4 different room types, so we'll see what we get first. I just want to point out, I accidentally played my March song and overrode the Haunting BFO on accident. Whoops, sorry Art, if you're watching. I meant to polymarch, but yeah, sometimes it does weird things. Okay, anyway, so for this room, we have dogs. So dogs are kind of like the hardest room for a lot of groups. Dogs are going to spawn at 25% in the middle of the room. What you're going to want to do is wind blast them, or meridian sweep them, or have a giant move them to one of the corners of the room, and then you're going to want to hit that wolf to then send it to the other side. So if you're on night side, like I am right now, we are sending day dogs to the other side, while Dayside is sending night dogs over to us, and then we will kill those night dogs to fuel the bar on the bottom. Yeah, and these dogs hit like a truck, so if you're Harmonic Saint, make sure you're keeping overshield on your teammates. And oftentimes I will probably use Blessing and Protection here as a last resort. In this room, as Harmonic Saint as well, I'm always making sure I'm putting down Pulse because people's mana shield often gets completely destroyed by the dogs. So make sure you're putting those down if you're Harmonic Sainting. Okay, so now that we finished with that, we will see what we get next for this room. Okay, so here we are killing the man-eating plants or carnivorous to fuel up the paradox corrected bar on the bottom. Usually we focus the man-eating because like what I said before, they contribute more to the bar. I like pawing here to make the room go a little bit faster in killing the plants. Okay, so just to clarify, there are 4 different modes that you can get for this room that we're in right now. So first you saw the dogs, right? And then second you saw the plant killing. So now another option here is Yeti that we could have gotten, but you can tell this is from a different run because I'm on Dayside now. But that's just because you can only get 2 room types out of the 4 per run. Hopefully that made sense. So here we have Yeti room now. So here we're going to want to make sure we're keeping these percentages on the bottom very close to one another. If one side gets too high of a percentage than the other, the Yeti is going to wake up. And when the Yeti wakes up, he oftentimes will send people into deadly. You can actually iframe when he wakes up, but that's pretty hard to do. But I've seen people do it, so. Oh yeah, and here we're just killing plants again, so we're just making sure we're killing the man-eating to contribute more to the bar. So another room type we could have gotten was cats, which is probably one of the easiest room types out of all 4 of them. So here we're just killing cats with the symbol of the side you're on, like above their heads. So we're on day, so in this video, so we're killing day cats. Okay, now we head into the 3rd room. So here is where that firewood I told you to get comes in handy. So we will be setting up campfires in the 4 corners of the room. There's like a certain spot you put them in. It's roughly going to be in front of the braziers when they spawn. Once you get all those campfires set up, you will then want to put down red seals in the middle of the room because mobs are going to spawn shortly after. You know, now that I'm watching this right now, I totally see I have the Theta technique on right now. And that's just amazing. I love that. So here, the first wave is just going to be killing the mobs to fuel up the paradox corrected bar on the bottom. Okay, so you see this red AoE, you're definitely going to want to dodge that. Basically, any red AoE you see in Glen, you just want to dodge it. Okay, so for the next wave, the Yeti is going to spawn. The Yeti will only take damage from hitting one of the braziers on the outside. And you can only hit a brazier once it is fueled by killing mobs. So basically, kill mobs, fuel a brazier on the outside. It will tell you on your screen when it's full. You then hit the brazier, and it will then do damage to the Yeti. It's really good if you can hit a brazier where there's a lot of mobs between the brazier and the Yeti, because when you hit the brazier, it will kill the mobs in its way, and this will help maybe fuel up another brazier for you to hit again. Also, it's important to note that when you hit a brazier, make sure there's not like a deadly teammate like in the path, because it will kill your teammate. So just be mindful of that. So the Yeti has a couple different attacks. It can roar, and if you're in the vicinity, it can hurt. And then it could throw a snowball at you, or it could roll on you. So if it rolls on you, it's gonna send you to deadly. And sometimes I've seen it just double roll people and just flat out kill them. So you're definitely gonna want to make sure you always are linked with a pet. And what I often do is I will send my pet onto the Yeti so that it's getting rolled and not me. In this room, wraiths also spawn as well. And when they spawn, they wraith roar, so they desummon your pet. So that's always fun. So what you could do is try to kill the wraith as soon as possible so you can relink if you need to. In this room, after you're done killing the first Yeti, you'll be at 50%, and then when you kill the second Yeti, you'll be at 100%. So once a side finishes, what they will do is you can Shadow Cloak, and then Crisis. You just need to drop aggro and just chill and wait for the other side to finish. Oftentimes people will use Fate Weaver, and then you press the number 4, and then you put it on yourself, and then you use Play Dead, and you can just chill like that until the other side finishes. Sorry, I'm just gonna show you guys what that looks like, just because sometimes people don't understand like what that means. They're more of a visual learner. So what you do is Fate Weaver, you press the number 4, put it on yourself, and then you Play Dead. And you can just chill like this until the other side finishes. And then once they finish, you can just press escape. And then you're good. Alright, so once both sides are done, I then like to relink with a pet. A brazier will then spawn, and only one person will need to go and interact with it. When you interact with it, you are going to want to click Do Not Activate. You can click like the option that says like burn some, I think, or like activate. This will, you could do this if you want to get lifeline back, but most people just click on Do Not Activate. And then if you burn all Firewood, you are then entering Glen Elite. This is now very similar to Glen Normals. We need to damage the 4 braziers on the outside and then get into the circle in the middle, while the other side is waiting for us so that they can attack the barrier. Now we switch roles, so our side is attacking the barrier now, while Day's side is attacking the 4 braziers on the outside and then getting into that red circle. And then we will attack the barrier together. And then you see this red circle? This will kill you. This will kill you no matter what. So definitely make sure you get out of that one. Okay, so now we are at mid-boss. So here people will usually rebuff themselves. And once we get into our circles on each side, Night side will be attacking Grandma, while Day side will be attacking Golem. Here, people will then head south, and then we will group up together. We'll place down glyphs, and here it is extremely important that you are debuffing. If you do not debuff, then you can fail here. If you're on Day side, you can transform so you don't get iced. So something that I should also talk about here is the souls. So on the top right, you see souls absorbed by the brazier. I'll have Ambro, my guild officer, talk about it because he can probably do a way better job explaining it than me.
The souls mechanic starts from 90% to 65%, and then again from 50% to 25%. During this mechanic, Kaliak starts to accumulate souls in order to wipe the party. You can see the amount of souls Kaliak has accumulated on the top right of the screen. When 30 souls have accumulated, it causes everyone in the party to wipe. If you have lifeline left, you can still revive with a self-revive option. During this phase, there will be 10 mobs that spawn. Killing any mob causes it to become a pallid soul, and that soul is added to the soul counter. Every 30 seconds, Kaliak will sacrifice all mobs currently alive, adding those souls to the counter, and then 10 new mobs will respawn. When you get the boss health to 65%, or 25% the second go-around, you will reach the resonance mechanic. During this mechanic, Kaliak will sacrifice all mobs that are currently alive, adding another 10 souls to the counter. If the counter reaches 30 during this phase, the party will wipe. To reduce the number of souls that have been accumulated, you must find a deer that has spawned on either day or night side, kill it, and enter the portal that its body leaves behind. Once inside the portal, you must kill the pallid souls to decrease the counter. After resonance, the gray world will disappear. If anyone is still inside when resonance has completed, they will die and be transported to the overworld. As your party gets more comfortable with debuffing and dealing damage to the mid-boss, you can choose to skip killing the pallid souls in the gray world and instead focus on dealing more damage to the mid-boss. Ideally, you should be able to accomplish this without using time shift, as that comes in handy later during burst phases with the final boss.
Special thanks to Ambro for that great explanation. At 10%, the person on night who is closest to Grandma will be warped into the Grey World first. The Grey World is very similar to what you see in Glen Normal, but the deers in there hit pretty hard. I've seen like the deers kill people, so it's really important that you go in linked with a pet or you vortex right away. You also, just a reminder that you can't take potions while you're inside the Grey World, so make sure that you are putting down glyphs if you need to, or using Vital Surge. Oftentimes parties are going to send in 2 people in there to help DPS the Unfinished Reverie. The people outside need to avoid these AoEs, just like how it is in Glen Normal. So here we are damaging Grandma to 10% to send in another person into the Grey World to help with DPSing the Unfinished Reverie. And then, I don't know if a lot of people knew this, but if you're outside of the Grey World, you can actually use Party Heal in the center of the room here, and it will heal the people inside of the Grey World. Now we're at the final boss. So here we are gathering up, and then we are going to be attacking Kaliak and getting her down to 95%. In this room, I definitely recommend you have Anchor Rush and Grapple Shot both binded. For me, I actually have Anchor Rush binded to my F key and Grapple Shot binded to my G key. And these will help you avoid Kaliak's attacks and these beams that you see. It's very important that throughout this whole entire boss room fight, we are keeping debuffs on her. Right now, no one is taking chill stacks, but once we get to 95%, everyone on night side will be taking chill stacks first. Okay, so at 95%, everyone on night will be taking chill stacks if they get hit by any beams or Kaliak's attacks. Meanwhile, day side needs to go around the map and look for a puddle of light, and they need to get it. And you know that everyone on day side has gotten their puddle of light when the deer spawns. You saw us kill the deer, and a portal spawned after killing the deer. This portal is very important for 75%. When the boss hits 75% health, there's like a hit check, and someone will need to go inside that portal to do the hit check. Okay, meanwhile, while all this is going on, everyone on night side has this time until the end timer in the top right. These are our doom timers, is what they're called. when it gets to my time, I'll show you what you need to do when the time comes. There is also a chance that if your party does enough damage, you can actually totally skip this whole time until the end, like Doom timer thing mechanic. But it just depends on your party. So usually when my timer in the top right hits around like 20 seconds or so, that's when I usually pop Awakening of Light. And then when it gets to maybe around 10 or 5 seconds is when I pop Wings of Eclipse. And then usually I'll Shadow Cloak. Here you don't see me Shadow Cloak, but it's really good to Shadow Cloak if sprites are around you, because sprites can cancel Wings of Eclipse and then you'll die when your timer hits 0. So basically, Wings of Eclipse is the skill that is negating your death here to the Doom timer. Okay, so we are nearing 75%, which is the first hit count mechanic. So you will be seeing someone go into that warp portal, and they will then be hitting the boss 15 times, and they need to do this within 10 seconds. Typically, it's best if you have a alchemic sharpshooter do it, so they can hit it from range, because usually you put the warp portal on the outside. But if you don't put the warp portal on the outside and you happen to put it like in the center of the room, then it doesn't really matter who goes in. But usually they typically go in a few like percentages beforehand, before it hits 75. So you know the hit count is starting because the boss is taking zeros right now. So someone's inside the gray world doing the hit count. Here's a video of my guildie Tibbs going in to do the hit check, so you guys get a visual of what it looks like. For this run, they had their warp portal very close to the center of the map, so that's why when he went into the portal, he's spawning right next to the boss. But typically, teams will put the warp portal somewhere on the outside, just so you don't have to worry about taking chill stacks while going into the warp portal. If you fail the hit count, everyone on day will die. The boss will also recover some health, and you will have to do the mechanic again. At 65% is the next mechanic, so this is called swords at 65%. Everyone on night side will have a sword spawn above their head, and you want to make sure everyone in the party just keeps moving. Once the sword drops, an ice puddle is gonna form on the ground. Try to get in it. If you don't get in one, hide behind someone who did, and position yourself where it's the boss, the ice crystal, and then you. So always making sure that the ice crystal is positioned in accordance to the boss. Yeah, I think I defianced here, so that's why I didn't die. Some common questions people have is only one person can get behind someone who's in a crystal. So if you don't get behind someone, you can use other things like Shylock Step, any iframe ability. So you can even use like Anchor Rush, you can time it correctly, or Grapple Shot. So the next percentage that we look for is 55%. At 55%, it switches, so basically everyone on day side will be getting chill stacks now, and then on night side, we will no longer be getting chill stacks. Night side now needs to go find their puddles. You'll see me go get my puddle right now. And now everyone on day will have to do their doom timers. So you will see people do their Wings of Eclipse when they need to. And just to reiterate, the whole purpose of us spawning the deer is to be able to do the hit count mechanic. We will see another hit count mechanic at 35%. Okay, so I skipped right to 35% just so this video isn't like super long. At 25%, swords will happen again and they will drop on dayside members. Whenever I hide behind someone who's in an ice crystal, I usually will always Anchor Rush as well, just in case there's like some displacement going on. At 15% is Eternal Winter. So for this, you want to make sure everyone is staying super close to each other. There'll be one party member that has like a circle around them, so you want to stay very close to them. If you get away from that circle, you'll start taking chill stacks. Here, you want to make sure you are avoiding her attacks as well as the beams. You can put on Iron Will here, that's really good. Also having Vital Surge as an option just in case things get a little dicey. Here is the title that you get for clearing Glen Hardmode for the first time. It's called The Flame of the Icebound Reverie. And that pretty much concludes the video. So I will also put Machako's really great Glen guide in the description as well if you want to check it out. And I hope everyone has a great day. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.